Hello, everybody. If you could comment, please, just to let me know that it's all working. That would be great. So look, I hope you can all join me in this beautiful sunny weather today. It's a very hot day to be in a ballet class. But don't worry, we will be adjusting the session slightly just so that you've got, just because of the hot weather. So if you can just make sure as well, please, that you've got some water with you because obviously it is so warm today. If we can have any comments, please, just to check that it's working. Let's have a look. Let's see. Right, okay, well then. When you're able to join us, if you can comment on it, please, just to make sure that it's working properly. But in the meantime, I'll just get started and you can always catch up later on. Just to mention before we get started, like I said, if you can make sure you've got some water with you, because it is warm today. Ah, yes, I've got somebody watching. Great, it's all working. Woo! So just make sure, please, that you've got some water with you. Also, for your footwear, if you can make sure that you have got something lightweight that won't fall off your feet. If you do have a pair of ballet shoes, then that's absolutely perfect. Also, just before you start, if you can please check around you to make sure that the area is safe, that you haven't got any obstacles, make sure you've got plenty of space around you, and also that your flooring is suitable, so we don't want it to be slippy. You will need a chair for the session. You will need something to act as a ballet bar, which I'll talk about in a moment. But you do definitely need a chair as a session because, like I said, I am going to modify it slightly today, the session, with it being so warm. So we will do a little bit of chair-based work in the class as well. Right, okay, so I'll just explain a little bit about Silver Swans just before we get started. Silver Swans is an initiative of the Royal Academy of Dance, and I've not introduced myself. I'm Johanna Hadley, and I'm a Silver Swans licensee. So I was very fortunate to be part of the Royal Academy of Dance's initial pilot of Silver Swans, and I teach over 100 people aged 55 plus every week. In their Silver Swans ballet classes. They are ballet classes specifically designed for the over 55, so it's very gentle, and it's a great way of keeping fit. It helps your mobility, it helps with flexibility, balance. And I always say it's exercising without realizing that you're exercising. That's the great thing about it. Okay, so we will get started now. Actually, so we're just going to start off with a warm up. We're actually going to do 2 warm-ups in total. The first one is just getting us moving, and the second one is going to be just a little bit more for our feet. First warm-up, just following along, nice and straightforward. You just want to have as much space as possible. If you are lacking in space, then you can walk on the spot, but I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so let me just adjust this a little bit more. There you go, so you can see me. Right, so we're just going to start off by walking around the room. Just want you to really be thinking about your breathing, and let's get going. Okay, so walking around. If you haven't got enough space, then you can always walk on the spot. You can keep walking around in a circle if you've still got the space. Now we're going to take our hands up and bring them down. You can still keep walking in the circle if you want to, and down, and up, and down, and up. Okay, now everybody into the middle, hands in front, and we'll bend, and stretch, and bend, and stretch, and bend, and stretch. Nice big bends. Keep going, and bend and stretch. Now sway to the side, bend and stretch, and bend and stretch. Nice big bend. Right, one more. Feet together, breathing in and breathing out. Okay, good. Right, so now we're going to do our second warm-up. So for this we do need a ballet bar. Now, ballet bars are not something that we normally have lying around the home, but dancers love using all different sorts of surfaces for ballet bars. The best one I find for me is my dining room chair. What you want your ballet bar to be is a nice sturdy chair, something that isn't going to wobble over. You want the height of it to be about the height of your waist. Okay, so just to start off, you're going to face your bar. Now, I just angled my chair around slightly so that you can see me nice and clearly. But don't worry, you can just have your chair wherever you can see the screen clearly. But you do want to be facing it square. Now, just take a moment to think about your posture. So we do talk an awful lot about our posture in a ballet class. One of my favourite pieces of imagery, I know that all my Silver Swans who I regularly teach would know this because I'm often using this piece of imagery, is about the helium balloon that is floating upwards. So I want you to imagine that your head is a helium balloon that's trying to lift upwards, but your feet are the weight. Because this weight still keeps us very grounded. So your heels are very grounded, but you're lifting upwards. This gives us like a nice two-way stretch, and you want to have your hands in front of your shoulders as well. This way we can keep our posture nice and square. We're not rounding our shoulders or arching our back. Everything's nice and square. So for our second warm-up now, we're going to go to our demi-point. So creasing your shoe. Now, demi means half. Now you'll notice that all of these words that I'm using are in French, because that's the great thing about ballet. Not only are you learning ballet, you're also learning French as well at the same time. So demi meaning half, and point, pointed foot. So it's half of a pointed foot. So you're going to take your foot to the demi point. So we're keeping our toes relaxed on the floor, and we're getting a nice crease across our shoes. Then we're going to a point. Don't lean on that foot. Back to your demi point and down. Same with the other foot. To a point, demi point and down. Same again. Demi point and down. Same again. Now we're going to point and flex our feet. So pointing your foot forwards. Now as you flex your foot, really feel as though you're pushing your heel away from you. That gives you a nice stretch. And point and close. Same again. And flex and point and close and point and flex and point and close. One more. And flex and point and close. Okay, so we're going to our demi point to a point. Demi point to a point, then pointing and flexing. So this is our second warm-up, just getting our feet moving. Let's give it a go with some music. Okay, so demi point to a point, demi point and down. Same again, still got that lifted feeling. Same again, to a point, demi point and down. Now pointing and flexing and a point and flex and point and close, point and flex and point and close. Same again. One more to finish off. And we'll finish off there. Okay, good. Let's just have a quick check. Hello everybody else who's joined us now. I hope that you're enjoying joining in the session. Let's go now. We're going to start off our official exercises. We've done our warm-ups, so now we're going to go on to doing our bar exercises. So back to the ballet bar again. Now again, I'm going to keep facing the bar for this exercise. So I'll just keep my chair turned around this way. There are 5 positions of the feet in ballet, and we're going to now use 3 of them in this exercise. So I'll just teach you what they are. If you start off with your feet together, as dancers, our turnout comes from our hips. So the whole of your leg is rotating outwards. So keeping your heels together, you're going to turn your toes away from each other. Just take a look down at your feet. We don't want to have them too turned out. We just want it almost like a right angle almost. Okay, so that's first position. Keeping your feet turned out. If you now put a space between your feet, We call that second position. Now, second position, again, just have another look at your feet. We want them to be matching. We don't want to have one foot more turned out than the other. And we want to have our weight equally in the middle. We don't want to have our weight more on one side than the other. Okay, so that is second position. So we've got first position and second position. Then we're going to learn third position. So if you put your feet back to first for this one, and choose one of your feet, it doesn't matter which foot, and you're going to bring it in front. So your heel is coming in contact with the middle of your other foot. And that's third position. We've got both of our legs straight, and we've got our weight equal on both feet. So we'll have a recap. There you go. In the first 10 minutes, you've just learned 3 of the 5 positions of ballet. And it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or whether you're a professional ballet dancer, those are the core 5 positions that we use. Okay, so we have first position, and we have second position, and we have third position. Now, when dancers are moving from one position to the next, we point our foot. So, feet in first position, so we point our foot, and then we have what's called a transfer of weight. So we're putting our weight equally into the middle, just like we said about for second position. And then we're pointing our foot to close it in front into third. And then pointing your foot, and we'll go back to second position. And you basically just learned there the setting, all the positions that you're going to be going through for your pliés exercise. Now, there's one of those French terms again. Plié. Plié means to bend. Now, this is actually a demi-plié what we're doing. Demi meaning half, there's that word again. So demi-plié, it's half a bend. Now, there is a step of a full plié, but it's quite more of an advanced dancer's move. So we are learning the demi-plié today. Sounds more difficult than what it is. Really straightforward. Feet in first position, all you're doing is you're bending and stretching. So you can see we're making a nice diamond shape with our legs when we're in first position. Now, as dancers, we always think of 3 points of contact with the floor all the time, which is really important to remember when we're doing a plié. We want our big toe to stay in contact with the floor, our little toe to stay in contact with the floor, and your heel to stay in contact with the floor. Now, it's the heels that you have to be careful of, because they're the ones that always want to pop up off the floor. So, keeping all 3 of those points of contact, and stretch. Okay, and we can do pliés in all the positions that we've just talked about, which is what we're going to do now. So, facing your ballet bar, feet in first position, thinking about your posture, so we've got that lifted feeling of your head, feet very grounded. Now, just think of that helium balloon for a moment. There's the piece of string that attaches it. When you pull down on that piece of string, the balloon doesn't fall to the floor. It's still trying to pull upwards, and that's the feeling that we want when we're doing a plie. So even though we're bending our knees, we're not sinking into our plie. We've still got this lifted feeling. So feet in first, we're going to do 3 demi-pliés in first position. Demi-plié and stretch, keeping a nice straight back. Demi-plié, keep your heels in contact with the floor, stretch. Demi-plié and stretch. Now you're going to point your foot to the side and go to second position. Now take a moment to check your feet in second. Are your big toes opposite each other? Are they turned out the same amount? Is your weight in the middle? That's what we want to make sure that we're going to safely perform our demi-plié in second. Demi-pliés in second, 3 demi-pliés, demi-plié. And stretch. So we want to think of our knee going over our middle toe so that we're not overstretching our knees. Demi-plié and stretch. Now the foot that you just pointed, you're going to point it again and bring it in front into third position. Now, same in third. Demi-plié and stretch. Knees going over your middle toe. Demi-plié, keeping a nice straight back. Demi-plié and stretch. Now we'll go back to second position, use the same leg again, and we'll just finish off with 3 more in second. Demi-plié and stretch, demi-plié and stretch, 1 more, demi-plié and stretch, and then to finish off we'll close into first position. So that's the setting for our pliés exercise. So like I said, these are called demi-pliés. There's a little transfer of weight in there as well. And we're doing 3 pliés in each of the positions of first position, second position, third position, and then back to second position again. Let's go with some music. Okay, so demi-plié and stretch, demi-plié and stretch, nice straight back. Now we'll go to second position. Lowering down, just take a moment to check your feet. Plie and stretch, knees over your middle toes. And stretch, one more. And now going into third position, so bringing this foot in front, heel into the middle of your foot. Same again, keep lifting up. Knees over your middle toes, make sure your heels are staying on the floor. And we're going to go back to second position for one more set. In second, plie and stretch. And plie and stretch. One last one. And stretch, closing into first position to finish off. Okay, good. I just love that piece of music. I think it's just beautiful for pliés. Really nice way. Pliés are one of my favourite exercises. I just think it's a just nice, calm way to really start off the class. Battement tendus now. So again, Battement tendus, it sounds like it's going to be a really tricky step, but all it is just pointing and closing your feet. So we want to keep our legs nice and straight. We're just pointing our foot and closing it back into first position. We're going to do this exercise facing the bar again. Now, there are some rules that we think about. There's lots of rules in ballet. There's so many. It takes lots and lots of years to kind of get used to all the little intricacies in ballet technique. So I'm just going to try and give you as many of them today as possible. So, feet in first position. So we're lifting up nice and tall. So for our Battement tendus, when you point your foot to the front, this is called a Battement tendu devant, which is to the front. You're going to slide your foot to the front until it goes to a beautiful pointed foot. And then we're going to close it back into first again. And then we're sliding it to the front and closing it into first. And then we'll do another one, keeping it in front of your hip and your shoulder. And into first. Then we'll take a demi-plie. And stretch, same with the other leg, to the front. And closing into first. And the second one, closing into first. And a third Battement tendu, closing into first, demi-plie, and stretch. Now we're going to do exactly the same, but going to the side. So these are Battement tendus à la seconde, okay? So the rule about Battement tendus to second is that your big toes stay in line with each other. So you're going to slide your foot to the side, closing into first. Another one, closing into first, so it's going to a fully pointed foot, closing into first, demi-plie, and stretch. Now we're going to use the other leg. Remember that your legs stay straight all the time. It's your foot that's doing all of the work. Okay, and then a plie to finish off. So it's always 3 Battement tendus, followed by a plie. Your legs stay nice and straight. It's your feet. It's what we call articulated footwork. And what we want to do is that it's your foot which is pushing through. It's like me going, my foot's on a flex, I'm pushing through the ball of my foot to a point. So we're going to that demi-point position that we were just talking about in our second warm-up. But your foot is staying in contact with the floor, so it slides out and slides back in again. And that allows us to keep our legs straight as we're doing our Battement tendus. Okay, so let's give this exercise a go with music. So, feet in first position. Okay, so we're going to the front and closing into first and to the front. So keeping it in front of your hip and your shoulder and to the front. Closing into first, demi-plie and stretching. Now your other leg to the front, closing into first. Nice straight legs, if you're still thinking about lifting, and closing into first. One more, closing into first, demi-plie, keeping your heels in contact with the floor, and stretch. Now we're going to go to our à la seconde, so to the side, and into first, to the side, keeping your legs pulled up and straight, still lifting up nice and tall, thinking of that helium balloon trying to float upwards, and demi-plie. Now just with our other leg to go to the side, pointing your foot, closing into first, to the side, and into first. One last one, and into first, demi-plie, and stretch. Okay, good. If you want to have a quick drink of water now, because it is very hot today, I'm just going to have a quick drink of water. Okay, let's have a look. Great. Oh, fantastic to see some people joining in who haven't done ballet before. Brilliant. Well, I hope it gives you a nice taster today. Okay, good. Let's continue now with our next exercise, which is called a Battement fondue. Now, you are probably instantly thinking right now of cheese and chocolate. You'd be right to do that. It's to do with melting, but unfortunately no cheese and chocolate involved. It's instead all about your legs that are going to be melting. Okay, so let's go back over to the bar. Now, I will give you a slight modification for this exercise. I'll give you an option. So we're going to start off with our feet in third position, okay? Doesn't matter which foot you have in front, because both legs will have a turn anyway. Now, when we're standing at the ballet bar, we want to make sure that if we're too far away, then our elbows are straight. If we're too close, then they're bent. We want them to have a nice soft curve. But for this exercise, I want you to just move a little bit closer towards your bar than normal, because you will travel backwards. So, feet in third position, you've got your outside foot in front. Okay. So, a fondue, like I said, it's meaning to melt. So, it's basically like a demi-plie and stretching. But what's going to happen is that your front foot is going to lift up and your little toe is going to touch your ankle bone. So you're bending and lifting your foot at the same time. There is a lot of coordination going on with this. So don't worry if you don't get it today. It's something that you can keep practicing and it becomes a lot easier. Okay, so I'll just turn and face the camera for you so you can see what I'm doing. So as I'm bending my knees, I'm lifting up my front foot so that my little toe is touching my ankle bone. And then as I put it down, my legs are stretching. So this is a Battement fondue devant. So there's that word devant again, meaning at the front. Front foot. And close. Have a go with the other leg. So swap your feet over, because of course we can have third with either leg in front. Check that your heel is in contact with the middle of your foot. So we're bending. And stretching. And bending and stretching. Now, that does take quite a lot of control in your turnout. Remember that your turnout comes from your hips. So if you do have any hip or knee problems, then you can also take this exercise in parallel. So for this, I want you to stand with your feet together. And all you're going to do is you're going to bend your knees, and the foot that is lifting, and you're going to lift up one foot, and your big toe is going to touch your ankle bone and stretch. So it's like the fondue action, but is still in parallel. I want you to really make sure you're thinking about your knee going over your middle toes. So there's just that little option there, if you just want to take it a little bit more carefully, and you can always, from there then, start to work on the turnout of the position a little bit more when you've got a bit more stability. So, facing the bar, I'll do it in turnout, but by all means, if you want to do it in parallel, then just perform this exercise in parallel. So, feet in third position. So I'm taking a Battement fondue devant, and closing in, another Battement fondue devant, and closing in. Now the leg that's just been lifting, we're going to point it to the side, but we're going to close it now to the back, and this is why you travel back a little bit more. And then we can go with the other leg, fondue. Knees over your middle toe and stretch. So this is the fondue, it's the melting and stretching. Then pointing your foot to the side to close at the back. The quality of a Battement fondue, I always say, here's another food reference for you, is like the inside of a curly whirly chocolate bar. It's got that stretch, it's got that resistance to it, so we're not just dropping down into our fondue. It's got some stretch there. It's continuously moving. It's fondue, it means to melt. Okay, so let's face our ballet bar for this. Take it in parallel if you want to. And remember to start a little bit closer towards your bar. Okay, let's go with some music. Okay, so we're going to go fondue and stretch. Fondue and stretch. Point your foot to the side and close it in at the back. Same again. Fondue and stretch. Fondue and stretch. Point your foot to the side. We are going to go again, so move a bit closer towards your bar if you need to. Let's go again. Fondue and stretch. Fondue and stretch your legs. Keep your legs pulled up because this is really Battement tendu. And closing in at the back. Other legs, so we're bending both knees. And we're stretching. And we're bending. And stretching. Pointing your foot to the side. And closing in at the back. Okay, good. So just one more exercise at the bar to finish off with, and it is our grand battement. So we came across that word battement just before in our Battement tendus. It's very closely related to our Battement tendus. We're going to do it with one hand on the bar, so I'm just going to turn my chair round a little bit more. That's it. So instead of facing the bar, we're facing straight forward now. So our posture is slightly changed with regards to our arm placement. So what we want to think of is we're still thinking of our shoulders and our hips being square. We don't want any twists in our body. And the hand which is holding onto the bar, we want it to be in front of us. Because if it starts to wander behind us, then that's going to start to affect our weight placement. So keep it in front of you. And your other hand, you're going to put it onto your waist. Now we want our elbow pointing straight to the side. Because again, if it starts to wander around the back, then that's going to start to pull your weight off in the wrong way, okay? And this is about balance, okay? So, feet in first position, one hand on the bar, and we're still thinking of lifting up nice and tall. So, this is, like I said, a grand battement. Today we're going to learn what's a preparation for a grand battement called a divided grand battement. So, feet in first position. It starts like a Battement tendu, so you're pointing your foot to the front. So we're keeping our legs straight. Your leg will remain straight and we're just going to have a little lift. Point it back down and close it into first. Then we'll go with the other leg. Point and a lift and point and close and point and lift and point and close. Now the height of that leg is not important. It's just a balance. It's more important that you're keeping everything nice and square. So, when we've done that, keep swapping your legs. Now, normally in a ballet class, we would do everything with one side more dominant, and then we'd turn around and repeat it on the other side so that we're working the other leg. But that isn't going to work very well for a live video if I'm then turning around with my back towards you. So that's why I've choreographed these exercises today, that we're using both legs, and then I can keep facing the camera and you can keep facing the camera as well. So, feet in first position. So, try and use your outside foot first of all, your leg furthest away from the ballet bar that you're using. Point, and lift, and a point, and close. Other leg, little lift, and point, and close. Another one, and lift, and point, and close. From here, we're going to take a rise. Now, I want you to really think about your placement for this. Because what we don't want as we rise up is that you're leaning out onto your little toe, because that is going to overstretch all of your ankle. We want to imagine a line going down through our knee, all the way through our ankle, and all the way through the middle, okay? So it's not going outwards. The height of that rise is up to you. As a dancer, we would take it normally all the way up to our demi-point, where we're going all the way up to the maximum range of our ankle joint. But that does require quite a lot of stability in our ankle, so don't worry if you don't feel comfortable in doing that. You can also take it just as a small lift of your heels. Sometimes we call that a quarter point. It's very strengthening, and also it's a lot easier to keep your foot and ankle a lot more stable in that quarter point position. So the height of that rise is up to you. So we've just done our rise and down. We're going to repeat the exercise all over again, but use our inside leg to begin. Point, and lift, and a point, and close. Same again. And lift, and a point, and close. One more. And lift, and point, and close. Rising up and down. Okay, so let's give this a go with music. We want our legs to stay nice and strong all the time. And we're thinking of lifting for our grand battements. Okay, so check your hands in front of you. Let's go with music. So outside foot to begin. Point and a lift. Point and close. So we want to keep it in front of our hip and shoulder. And close. Now into your rise. It's up to you how high you want to rise. And down. Now your inside leg to begin. And point. And lift. Keep it right in front of you. Straight legs. Are you still lifting? And point. And close. Shoulders relaxed. And rising up. And down. Okay, so that concludes our bar work. Now we are going to come into the centre. I'm just going to, if you want to just mind your chairs to the side, we are going to need to use them again in a minute. Just make sure they're safely out of the way, that you're not going to bump your hands into them. Because we're going to now do an exercise in the centre called a port de bras. But first, go and have a drink of water, and then we'll get started with our port de bras. So just mind your chairs out of the way, and have a quick drink. Let's have a look. Hope you're all enjoying this lovely sunshine we're having today. There you go. If I just angle the camera around a little bit more now, so that you can see everything a bit better. Right. Okay, because we're going to come into the middle now. We don't need our chair anymore. Okay. So, let's see. Can you see everything? Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to do a port de bras now. So port de bras, porte is carriage of, and your bras is your arms. So this is the moment for the dancer in a class where they can really get used to move. It's the moment for really making the arms very, very beautiful. So we'll just start off by learning a few different positions of the arms. Again, just as there's 5 positions of the feet, there are also 5 positions of the arms. Just thinking I might need to just angle my camera up a little bit more so that you can see my arms if I just take it up like that. Okay, there we go. Yes, my arms should fit in now. Right, so feet in first position. We're going to start off by learning a position called bra bar. So your arms are an oval shape. The little pointy bit of your elbow is pointing straight out to the sides. And our hands are as wide apart as our face. And we want our shoulders to stay nice and relaxed. So we call this bra bar. Bra is your arms, bar, low arms. So, hands in bra bar. We're going to keep your arms exactly the same shape, but I want you to lift them up so that they're opposite your waist. So they're in first position here. Now we're going to learn second position, so opening your arms out, and that's second position. Okay, so second position, I'll just turn to face the side so that you can see more clearly. In second position, our arms are curved in front of you. That's if my hands were straight out to the side. We definitely don't want them going behind us, because again, that's going to start affecting your posture. So we want our hands to be in front. Now, another little piece of imagery that I really like, that I think really helps with posture, is I want you to imagine that you've got a shoelace attached to your lowest rib, one on each side, and a shoelace attached to your hip bone as well. And you're going to get hold of those shoelaces, You're going to pull it in tighter, and you're going to tie it into a nice bow. And on the other side. And that just tips you forward that little bit more. And it's just that tiny little difference that affects your weight placement. And in turn affects your balance as well. That's the important thing. Okay? So by doing that, that has instantly just made all of our core muscles start to engage, which really, really helps. So just keeping that in mind all the time whenever we're doing these exercises, that we want to keep our core muscles engaged. So hands in barre, feet in first. We're taking our arms to first. And then we learn second position. Now I'm going to skip a few positions ahead. And I'm actually going to teach a fifth position before I teach you any others. And fifth position, if you put your hands back to barre, and you're going to keep them going all the way up to the top, keep them going, and up there, and that is fifth position. So again, it's still that oval shape. We've got the palm of our hand facing towards us, but just like in second position, we don't want our hands going behind us. So as I've got my hands here, I don't want them going behind me, because again, that's going to start to affect my balance. My stomach muscles have stopped working. So keeping your weight forward, abdominals engaged, and your hands stay just that little bit in front of us, and then also we can keep our shoulders nice and relaxed as well. We don't want any tension in our shoulders at all. So we've learned first position, second position, fifth position, and barre. We're going to combine two of those positions together now. So it's our second position and our fifth position, and then we'll get fourth position. So if you just put your arms into second 1 minute, and then put your hands up into fifth position. Now put one arm in fifth, and one arm in second, and that's fourth position there. And we can do fourth position on the other side as well. So those are going to be the main positions that we're going to be using in this exercise. There's just one little extra one that we're going to use as well. It's not part of the official 5 positions that we use. We have a few extra ones as well. And this one is called open fifth. So if you take your hands up to fifth, and then we're going to take them out to a V shape with your palms down, and we call that open fifth. Okay, so hands in barre. So I'll teach you the setting of the exercise now using all of those positions. We're going to go to first, up to fourth position, opening out to second, keep your hands in front of you, and down. Arms to first, to fourth, to second, and down. To first, to fifth, and hold. Opening out to open fifth, and down to barre. Then we'll go on the other side. Were you thinking about keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed all the time? Just got to keep checking that. It's really, as soon as your arms start lifting up, it's a really tendency that shoulders start to really get so much tension in them. So keep them nice and relaxed all the time when we're doing our port de bras. Let's go through that again. So arms to first, to fourth, opening out and down. First to fourth, opening out and down. All the way to the top and hold. Out to open fifth and down to barre. Let's go on the other side, so we'll do it twice through that exercise. Okay, so feet in first with music now. Okay, arms to first, up to fourth, opening out and down. Arms first, keep your arms in front of you, opening out and down. First, to fifth, and hold. Opening out to open fifth, and back down. Let's go on the other side. Arms to first, up to fourth, opening out and down. Keep your arms in front of you, shoulders relaxed. Opening and down. Now both together. And up and hold. Shoulders down, out to open fifth and down. Okay, good, right. So for this next section of the class, I would like you to grab your chair back again, because we're going to talk a little bit about mime that appears in ballet. So let me just adjust my camera a little bit more so that you can see everything. Right, okay. So, sitting on your chair, I'm just going to talk about mimes, because the thing is that mime is a huge part of ballet. And if you can understand a mime in a ballet, then actually it can really help understand the story. Some of them are a little bit more obvious. Some of them take a little bit more explaining. I mean, some really obvious ones, I'll give you some examples. So, we have this, which is love. And we have this, which is marriage. We also have, which is like begging or pleading. We would have a baby. We also have to sleep, and that's more the lady's version. A man would actually more like the usual sleep position, but a lady would use that as sleep. We also, if we were talking about our eyes, using your middle finger, you just touch underneath your eye. So say like if you were asking somebody to close their eyes, you might gesture towards them and then touch underneath your eyes. There's also, so those are quite straightforward. There are some slightly more unusual ones that, unless you really know, it can be quite difficult to follow the story actually. So we can have ones like this, which means a beautiful lady, and we also have a handsome man. Now there is one in particular that well, it would be used to refer to Romeo and Juliet a lot. It's that one, which is death. Okay, so there's one ballet in particular that uses a lot of mime, and that is Sleeping Beauty. It's particularly when Carabosse comes out and she's putting the curse on Princess Aurora, and she comes out and she explains that she's beautiful, and that the little baby, when she grows, she will prick her finger and die. And so there's a huge mime sequence there, and then the Lilac Fairy comes along and she does some more mime as well. So it's a huge sequence that in mime, and if you can really understand that mime, then it helps a lot. There is one other one that I really like, and it's this, which means to dance. So if you go and watch the ballet and you ever see somebody going like this, you know that somebody's about to come out and dance. So now we're just going to base a little bit of a mime around the ballet of Coppelia. So Coppelia is a really lovely ballet. I do recommend it if you've never seen a ballet before. My two ballets that I always recommend starting off with, first of all, it's Coppelia, and the second one is La Femelle Garde. I don't really recommend starting off with some of the longer ballets, but these two are two really easy stories to follow, and they are just really lovely and happy stories. So this is from Coppelia, which is about a doll. So there's a moment where it's quite close to the start of the ballet, and there's a doll up in the balcony, and she's sat there reading a book. Now, there's a girl who realised that her boyfriend is now looking at this doll rather a lot, paying a lot more attention to this doll than what he is to her. So what she starts to do is she really wants to find out more about this doll. So because they don't realise that it's a doll, it's in the toy makers, they just think it's a real girl because it's so realistic, this doll. So they just keep saying, they try and interact with her, but she's just sat there reading the book. So they try and ask her to come down. And it's a very famous dance, this. So we're going to do a little bit of the mime. So we're going to use the mime asking somebody to come down. So we're going to gather up and down, and then with the other hand and down. So we're asking her to come down. Then we're going to use our hand. Just choose somewhere in your room. I want you to imagine that there is a balcony. You're going to point up there is a beautiful lady. Okay, so let's just do that again. So you're gathering up. So you're really saying, come down. Over there is a beautiful lady. We'll ask her to come down again. Will you come down? Will you come down? Now we'll do the mime, or meaning me. So you're going to bring your hands towards you. So your fingertips are in the middle of your chest. With me, will you dance? So let's have a go at that from the beginning. So we're asking her to come down. We're asking her to come down. Over there is a beautiful lady. Will you come down? Will you come down? With me, will you dance? Let's give it a go with some music, and this is some music from the Ballet of Coppelia. Okay, so I'm going to ask her to come down. Will you come down? Over there is a beautiful lady. Will you come down? Will you come down? With me, will you dance? Okay, should we have another go at that one? I always love doing this mime. I think mime is just a brilliant part. Tell you one of my favourite ones. It's where you go, and it's you go away. It's hilarious. Right, okay, so let's go with our Coppelia mime again. Okay, one hand. So we're asking her to come down. Will you come down? Over there is a beautiful lady. Will you come down? But really ask her to come down. With me, will you dance? Okay, good. And then after that, actually, she gets quite grumpy with her, and she really gets very frustrated the fact that she's not coming down. It's a hilarious story. It really is. If you've never seen Coppelia before, I really do recommend it. And if you've never seen a ballet before, then it's a great one to start off with. We're going to finish off now with our cool down and curtsy. So I'll just want to mind your chairs out of the way. If you want to have a quick drink of water again just before we finish, then you can do. Okay, so let me just adjust my camera again so you can see me. Okay, so we'll just finish off. I'll just teach you how to do a curtsy and a bow. So the bow would be for if we've got any men joining in today, which I really hope that we do, and the curtsy will be for ladies. So feet in first position. I'll teach the curtsy first. So your hands are in demi-second. Your foot is going to go to the back onto the ball of your foot. So if I just turn around and show you what my foot's doing. So it's going onto the ball of my foot, just behind my ankle. And as I do that, I'm going to bend my knees and put my feet back into first. Put my foot onto the ball of my foot and back into first. If you are struggling with your balance, take it as a flat foot at the back. So almost you're in third position, because it does take quite a lot of balance actually doing a curtsy. So feet in first, so we'll go curtsy and into first and curtsy and into first. And if you're a man, feet in first position, hands by your side, you'll just take a bow and recovering back up again and another bow and back up again. So we'll just do a general cool down and then we'll put that curtsy into the middle of it. So feet together, just following along like you did with the warm-up. I want you to really think about your breathing and keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed. Okay, breathing out, breathing in, and out, breathing in, and out, breathing in, feet into first, curtsy or bow, and stretch, curtsy or bow. Now I want you to just walk around the space, just keep thinking about your breathing. And breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out, breathing in, Okay, right, good. Well done, everyone. I really hope that you've enjoyed this class. If you do enjoy Silver Swans, Silver Swans classes are available worldwide. It's an initiative of the Royal Academy of Dance, and you can find Silver Swans licensees all across the world, lots of different countries. If you go to Google and type in "become a Silver Swan," and you'll find a map of your nearest Silver Swans licensees. I've also put a link to it in the text with this video as well if you want to see where your nearest Silver Swans licensee. Remember to always look out for the Silver Swans licensee logo to find an official teacher. I really hope that you've enjoyed it, and you can go and enjoy it in the beautiful sunshine today. And thank you very much, Royal Voluntary Service Virtual Village Hall, for inviting me. Bye.